Let's talk about the biggest, dumbest soldiers mankind has ever seen. Ogryns are huge, hulking slabs of muscle, bone, and not much else, standing at around 10 feet tall on average and strong enough to rip a space marine limb from limb. They compensate for this by being as dumb as a box of rocks. Easily confused, they struggle to follow more than the most simple and straightforward of missions. However, they are completely loyal to the Emperor and make exceptional shock troops. So what makes an Ogryn? To explain that, we have to take a step back and explain the concept of Abhumans in 40k. Abhumans are descendants of early settlers who through mutation, physical adaptation to the environmental conditions on various isolated worlds, and occasionally intentional genetic engineering, end up markedly different from baseline humanity. Unlike true mutants, they demonstrate more or less physical uniformity throughout their species, are reproductively stable, and are no more susceptible to mutation than normal humans. Due to fear and hatred of mutation throughout the Imperium, only lesser Abhumans such as Ogryns and Ratlings are permitted to serve in the Astra Militarum. With that out of the way, Ogryns originally inhabited cold, barren, high-gravity prison worlds before being cut off during the Age of Strife. The high-gravity environment was what led to the thick skin, muscular build, and monstrous size, while the barren environments, cold climates, little food, and long periods of starvation forced their intellect to become more focused on matters of survival rather than philosophy. When rediscovered during the Great Crusade, Ogryns were immediately inducted into the Imperial Army as close combat soldiers. Most Ogryns are quite capable of bringing down almost any enemy even without training, and their natural combat skills make them good assault troops. Ogryns are claustrophobic, which means they can only be loaded into armoured carrier vehicles with great difficulty, and will only ride in vehicles if a commanding officer is present. Once indoctrinated into the Imperial cult, they are extremely loyal. They are known to do anything and everything their superiors ask of them, believing the orders they receive as having been passed down the chain of command by the Emperor himself. Despite a reputation for simple-mindedness, there do exist some specimens of towering intellect among the Ogryns. Such individuals quickly stand out among their brethren, making them ideal candidates for biochemical Ogryn neural enhancement. Known as Boneheads, many are able to remember their own names, count most of their fingers, and make limited tactical decisions beyond simply hitting the enemy. These savants often act as officers, as to other Ogryns, the fact that a Bonehead even holds his rank is enough reason to obey, and most are content to trust that anyone who remembers as much as a Bonehead probably knows best anyway. In addition to their intelligence, Boneheads naturally exhibit many qualities that define a good leader. They tend to be driven, stubborn to a fault, and unwilling to back down or admit defeat in even the most hopeless situations. Such dedication is often born of absolute faith in their superiors, whom Boneheads trust implicitly and without reservation. They are also not afraid to lead from the front. However, despite their training and modifications, even the most intelligent individuals still suffer from bouts of savagery from time to time. In battle, most Ogryns are equipped with ripper guns, massive shotguns that are intentionally crafted to be more durable than standard Imperial weapons, to compensate for the clumsiness of their wielders. They also have their rate of fire intentionally limited, as Ogryns often fail to grasp the concept of conserving ammunition, and would otherwise happily burn through their entire ammo reserves in the first few minutes of combat. They can also be fitted with chain-blade bayonets to provide an effective close combat weapon. The most skilled Ogryn marksmen often derive substantial enjoyment from the mere act of firing their weapon, regardless of accuracy, instead reveling in the raw destructive power in their hands as they thoughtlessly expend countless rounds of ammunition downrange. Equipped with the caliber of weapon usually mounted on tanks, these gun luggers provide essential fire support to allow their companions to close the distance with a foe. Another useful battlefield role Ogryns perform is that of moving cover. Bulgryns are clad in custom-made armour made of discarded tank tracks and carry simple but effective interlocking slab shields, providing their comrades with a wall of walking cover while they advance across a battlefield. They take their protective duties very seriously and will often form a line at the slightest sound of gunfire, which can be most inconvenient in crowded trenches. Outside of serving as shock troops, or walking walls, Ogryns are also widely sought after as bodyguards for Imperial servants. Loyal, determined, and extremely hard to kill, they take their duty as protectors extremely seriously, and as such are invaluable retainers both in and out of combat. There have also been instances of Ogryns imprinting upon low-ranking officers or regular guardsmen who show them kindness, with several low-ranking officers acquiring the undying loyalty of Ogryns. However, despite their loyalty to the Emperor, their simple-mindedness has led to Ogryns getting a reputation as being easy to corrupt to the service of chaos, particularly that of Khorne. The servants of the Dark Gods use a combination of crude surgical procedures, combat drugs, and fell rituals to control these Ogryn, and have also created two distinct variations of Ogryn brutes, the Ogryn Berserkers and the Plague Ogryns. Berserkers are lobotomized, turning them docile, until they reach combat where they are injected with a cocktail of potent, dangerous drugs that transform them into a raging, bloodthirsty bloodthirsty psychopaths that can continue to fight with wounds that would usually kill it outright. They are often used as a one-use weapon, hurled into the enemy lines with the aim of inflicting as much damage as possible before they are slain or their organs begin to fail from the drugs. Plague Ogryns are hulking masses of bloated, diseased flesh and twisted mutation. The effect of Nurgle's influence leads to these creatures being almost impossible to kill, with the lightest touch leading to a horrific death from the foul plagues that infest them. And that is all I have to say for now about Ogryns. Please let me know in the comments if I left out any details, leave a like if you enjoyed the video and consider subscribing, it helps me out massively. Thank you for your support and I'll see you in the next video.